Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another gracious episode of the I'm Doing Great podcast. We're happy to be here. We had a little live earlier in the day. We are now set for YouTube Live. And speaking of YouTube, guys, do us a favor. We're on the road to 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, share the show with all of your friends. Share it with your enemies. Then maybe your enemies will become your friends and you won't have any enemies anymore. Also, I'm going to now announce one of the newest little side project communities, things or whatever that's going on within the IDG community. It is the I'm Doing Great Men's Club. You've heard it right. We're a men's club of only men, men only, no women. You have to be a biological man in order to join the IDGMC, the I'm Doing Great Men's Club. Guys, go to the I'm Doing Great Men's Club.locals.com. What we're doing right now is we're having an onboarding period for about a month. So we want to get all the members set up. We want to get all the supporters. Now, to have access to what we post and what we talk about, the live streams within the men's club, you have to be a supporter. Anyone can be a member, but it's $10 a month, 2 coffees a month. You get to talk to a bunch of the men and be a part of the community where we're going to talk about a whole slew of issues. We're going to do live streams. We're going to do book reviews. We're going to do movie reviews. We're going to talk about anything and everything. There's going to be a segment called What's Bothering You This Week? Where you get to air all your grievances, almost like Festivus and Seinfeld. So listen, the IDG Men's Club.locals.com. I think that's right.
The in there?
Yes, okay. It has the IDG Men's Club. That's fine, Adriana. Don't worry about it.
I'm going to plug my women's group then.
Yeah, that's fine. Do it.
I have a health and fitness women's group called The Shift. You can go to myhealthshift.com. We do workouts every Monday. Every Tuesday is a recipe share or grocery haul. Wednesday is a live stream where I answer a ton of questions about nutrition, macros, diet in general. Thursday is day for my commentary on politics and culture or motherhood. We talk about motherhood a lot on Thursdays. And Friday is like a lifestyle outfit makeup sort of day. And we're always doing health challenges together. So it's a great place for women only. No dudes, no dinglings, only women.
Yeah, no vaginas in our club, okay?
And no vaginas only in my club.
Yeah, also we will talk about fatherhood. We will talk about things that are all encompassing of men and what men experience and what men go through. Men. Yeah, men. But men. I was thinking about the logo. The logo is being worked on right now by a couple of different people, so I want to choose the best one. I went on Canva and I just made a quick one. So when you go to the idgmensclub.locals.com, even if I mess this up, there'll be a correct link. I came up with a cool logo by myself. So that's it. It's there. Either August 18th or August 20th, it will go live. But right now, go there, become a member, become a supporter. And the goal is by August 20th, we have 100 guys strong.
I love it.
You know?
It's a good goal.
What are we going to talk about today?
We have a few things on the list, on our agenda. What do we have? What's first?
It's up to you.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you want to start off with something? I guess concerning the both of us.
I guess which.
Well, we're banned on TikTok now.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Yes, as of this morning. Which I mean, anybody who is conservative or even conservative adjacent, if you choose to go onto TikTok, you just have to know that it's only a matter of time before you get banned for a few different reasons. TikTok is different than Instagram and Twitter and YouTube in the sense that content gets taken down when enough people report it.
Right.
Which is, I mean, anybody, like if it makes their tummy hurt, they'll report it, you know? So the thing about TikTok is if you have enough people reporting your content, the videos get taken down. Many times you can appeal them.
Yes.
And they'll go put back up, which we have many times. But if it's just the sheer volume of people reporting, and then eventually that will just snowball into if you like get too many strikes with your videos taken down, your whole account will get banned.
It also seems like a leftist swamp, doesn't it? Like I don't know of any left-winged TikTok personalities who have had, such targeted campaigns of being taken down by people on the right. I think people on the right will see content made by people on the left and they'll laugh at it and scroll past it or leave some base comment or something, and that's it. Yeah. The people on the left or whatever, they can't even live amongst a different opinion.
Well, remember when Josh Lacash came on and he said something that was so on the nose. He said they want you.
They try to take
They want your livelihood gone.
They want the food out of your mouth. They want to stop your ability to make money. And and most of the time they're just led by people with sad lives. I mean, you take a look at the woman who like started this campaign against you personally, and then our IDG.
You know how it started? Like this is how ill people are. So I didn't know who this person was. Mm-hmm. I mean, like I don't spend really any time scrolling through TikTok. Like I have a girl who's hired to help me with socials. Right. So she does all of the research, all the data, and she's young and she really understands TikTok. And first, I'll also preface this by saying, I hear a lot of people say, why do you even waste your time on TikTok? It's such a cesspool. I'm like, just like we talked about with Kangmin on our episode, I am so not into this conservative response where we're just going to make our own spaces.
Right.
I think that's the wrong move.
The boomer cope take.
It's a boomer cope take. Yeah. I think it's the wrong move to run to Truth Social and to Parler and just sit there and circle jerk each other off and say the same stuff over and over again.
It can be an asset. You can still use
them, but I think it's a mistake to run away from mainstream platforms where the main cultural conversations are happening. And I know millennials also hate to admit this. It doesn't matter how much it makes you upset, but TikTok is the place right now for growth. Number one, you can't grow on any other platform the way that you can on TikTok. It's the number one place for growth and engagement, and it is a primary driver of the culture.
It's really interesting, and even apart from culture, but just if you have a small business, I was watching this guy give a talk about how any of his restaurants or any of his clients, I guess he helps people grow social media, but he talked about a restaurant specifically saying we don't want to just see the product. What like gets views on TikToks is the making of the product. Like a company that works in seafood got 2 million views on a video where they just pack crab in a box in preparation to ship it.
Right.
And she's like, that's what people want to see. And it's absolutely true, because the videos that, when I did go on TikTok, the videos that I would spend the most time watching were people making food. Those behind the scenes of them making food were absolutely fascinating. You spend an hour going from someone's TikTok, then onto YouTube. This is all after the baby's asleep. Obviously, there are priorities and responsibilities I have. But like, I spend like an hour watching some guy who owns a McDonald's show me how to make a McChicken. I'm fascinated by it. But also at the same time, their algorithm works so well, because I am served, especially from the I'm Doing Great TikTok, I was just served a lot of like right-wing content, a lot of Christian content. At the same time, they sprinkle in a little bit of leftist content. I've noticed.
They have a lot of Christian TikTokers that I enjoy.
They really do, with a lot of views and a lot of engagement.
This is why I'm saying it's a really good place to be for a lot of different reasons. And obviously TikTok is the worst when it comes to getting banned or deplatformed, but I see it as a place where it's good to be a part of that space, because the conservative influencers who are there that have stuck it out, they're really successful. They've got millions of followers. They have really high engagement. And I think someone mentioned this to me too. They were like, if you think about when you read the Bible, you look at the spaces that Jesus occupied. He did not stay with the people that believed in him all the time. He really spent his time being in the spaces that people thought he shouldn't be in.
Right. And we're not equating ourselves to Jesus Christ.
No, but I mean,
saying the analogy fits.
But when you think about like emulating a life like Christ lived, I mean, he understood and embodied this idea that you have to go where you're not welcomed many times. That was like a controversial, radical thing that he did. So, I mean, earlier this year we talked about, we were like, let's just, screw it. Let's just see what happens. And as soon as I opened my personal TikTok and ours, I just knew it was going to get deplatformed one day. Yeah. Like, I'm not one of those conservatives like crying, but I can't believe it happened to me. Like, you expect it. This is when you are against the world and when you are not of the world, this is what happens. So like I was saying, I don't really scroll. I don't spend time scrolling through TikTok because I don't have the time or the desire to. The girl who runs my socials does a majority of that. But, I got on to just post something, and there was this girl from Canada, just like a very quintessential white liberal woman.
Yeah. Sad. Got nothing else going on in her life.
Yeah.
This is why she did it. I mean,
single mom.
We have this show. We have our Instagram. You have your Instagram. TikTok is probably all that she has.
No, this is actually a great point, because this is the point. So I posted a video a couple months ago talking about, I think it was like how in New York City, they were paying like $40,000 to have drag queens come in and read to kids. Yeah, right. And you have like almost half of the kids in New York City can't read or write by by 8th grade or something. And so I just said very matter-of-factly that drag queens don't belong around kids. Yeah. And so she stitched that video and she made this big to-do, and she shared footage of her daughter at a drag queen, men twerking in front of her, like really inappropriate stuff. And she voiced it over and she was like, Gina, I just want you to see that I choose to teach my daughter tolerance and acceptance. I was like, okay,
cool.
Good
for you.
So I just went on with my life. And then I took a cursory glance at her profile and like, this is the kind of person, like I genuinely say this, I felt really bad for her. This is the kind of person who uses the hashtag twice divorced.
Yeah.
She brags about having kids. Like her kids don't have a dad in their life. Like, and you look at, you nailed it on the head. Like TikTok is all she has. That's her sense of meaning. And it gives her a reason to get out of bed in the morning.
Yeah. Sad.
And so when she made that video, I was like, whatever, cool. Fine. So I went on about my business. And then 2 days later, she got really mad that I didn't respond.
Really?
So she posted a comment on one of my TikToks about fitness.
Right.
Because another reason why I open up my personal TikTok is because it's a great way to drive women into my fitness group.
Right, exactly.
And that's where you can do the real life-changing work with me, where, you change your habits. A lot of women come in there with weight loss goals.
Yep.
We work out together and we do all kinds of stuff together every week off of social media so we can engage with each other more. And so I posted something about fitness and protein, and she commented and said, it would be great if you would respond to my drag queen video.
She said that?
She said that. And that confirmed to me, this is a person, sadly, who finds a lot of meaning, not only from TikTok, but from starting fights with random people on TikTok. And you know what, guys? I'm a mom. I have priorities in my life. I have no interest in starting beef with a random person on TikTok who got mad at something I said months ago. You know what I said to her? And this set her off.
Did you say K?
No, I said, you look really content and happy with your parenting choices. I wish you guys all the best. And I don't have anything to say about you and your daughter.
You said that?
I said that because and
that set her off?
And that really upset her because it gave her.
Well, it didn't give her the validation.
It didn't give her the validation. And I didn't validate her by starting a fight with her.
Right. See, a lot of what these people do is, and I mean, she's on a different level of mental illness, which I just obviously feel bad for. But it's a lot of what the kind of mommy influencers do that I'm pretty sure they're aware that they're doing this, but they might subconsciously just either they can't be subconsciously aware. They're using their kids as pawns in order to further their own popularity, or for clout or whatever it is. So the fact that she had to respond and say, "This is me with my daughter being tolerant and teaching tolerance," no, you're trying to score woke points among you and your friends by saying, "Look, I have a daughter that's cool around drag queens." It's cool.
It's exploiting your children.
Yeah, it's exploiting your children. And also, we don't care. What we care about is the biggest city in the United States and in the world, subsidizing this type of behavior and calling it education. That's
right.
Something that we care about. I don't care about your personal life with your kids. I feel bad for you. I feel bad for your kids. I understand why you're hashtag twice divorced, but you know what? Whatever. Listen.
That's how I felt. I was like, whatever.
The thing though, to target us though, because you know how I am. I'm a reactionary. To target you the way that she did set me off. And I was just like, okay, if you want to come after Gina, you're gonna have to come after us. But don't be surprised if people respond to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what I did. I set upon the Grateful Nation and I asked for their support and I demanded their support as their co-president.
Yeah. And then, the thing is when after she said that, after I commented to her, she said, "I can't wait to make more content about you." Verbatim. That's what she said. I said, okay. And then
cool, go off, queen.
Go off. I mean, that's fine. I mean, if anything, that's good for me. It's higher engagement.
Right.
But then she started started commenting about my daughter being raped.
Oh yeah.
And that's when I blocked her because I was like, she's not well.
Right.
And this may sound crazy to some people. I literally prayed for her. Women like that, my heart breaks for them because you look in their eyes and they're so upset and they're so lost. And this is, I hate to say it too, but we need men, just like men need women, women need men. A person like that, you need a man in your life, especially when it comes to having kids. And
she's twice divorced. What, do you think that there might be a problem she hasn't recognized yet?
Yeah, that's the thing, that it's never you. It's always somebody else.
Yep.
So and then she started, because we know we were talking about the 10-year-old in Ohio case at the time. And that's when she started commenting, and she was like, so when your daughter gets raped, you're telling her that you don't believe her? And I was like, this is it. I'm done. And so I said, I'm just going to cut it off. I hope you have a nice day. And I blocked her. And then that really made her upset. And then she intentionally created this coordinated campaign against my TikTok. And you know why people go so hard at your social media? Because their TikTok is their life.
Right.
And so if they want to ruin your livelihood, the only thing that they think will affect you is your TikTok, because to them, their TikTok is everything.
Right.
So they think that they are ruining your life by deplatforming your TikTok, when the reality is, like, you and I have very fulfilling lives outside of social media.
Right.
Like, yeah, it's a little bit annoying that we spent time to build up our TikToks, but if it gets deplatformed, like,
whatever.
It's no skin off of my back. It's not going to make me upset. It definitely doesn't take away from what's most fulfilling and meaningful in our lives. Sure. And so, I mean, as soon as she started that, I told the girl who works for me, I'm like, it's only a matter of time before we get kicked off. And then lo and behold, yesterday mine got banned, and then ours this morning. Yeah. And it was just one of those things where it's like, it's so funny because they think they're the good guys. And no matter how much I disagree with you, and no matter how evil I think people are for promoting abortion and the slaughter of millions of innocent babies in the womb, no matter how evil I think you are, no matter how much I disagree with you, I would never in a million years advocate for you to not have a voice. Yeah. I would never in a million years advocate for you to not have a platform. Right. And a lot of creators, including myself, including us, like, we generate income on social media platforms. I would never advocate for these people to not be able to create a livelihood for themselves.
Exactly, because they have people that agree with them. They depend on those types of people. It sucks, but there's a line that's crossed, and once you cross that line, to me, you're past saving, and I could give a shit about you. So
that's why we got kicked off. Like I said, TikTok's a different beast than Instagram and Twitter and YouTube. Mm-hmm. And I knew that it was going to happen. So, we're just going to keep doing what we're doing, because what we love is on YouTube anyway. This is this is the heart of what we do. Exactly. It's this. So, people think
and Instagram. I feel like Instagram is really like a cool place for us to have this community. Yeah. I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And I think Instagram's it's better for having conversations. Yeah. TikTok 100%. Is good for consuming fast content, but you can't have conversations with people there.
We've tried. Also, their UI is very, very weird, because they don't, how Instagram will post will post comments, what do they call it, when something starts here and ends there chronologically, right? Mm-hmm. So when I get a comment on TikTok, doesn't matter what's it's in response to, the direct response will be like right on top. My response will be right below, but the thread is all out of order, and I have no idea. That's why, because listen, at the height of any of our, TikTok videos, especially if a video is doing really, really well, getting like 10 comments a minute or something like that. And I try to engage as much as possible. But at one point I'm like, I don't even know, like, I can't even follow the logic of this person, because I can't go back and I can't find their original comment or what they originally said. So it's very difficult. Instagram, it's easier to have a conversation. Much easier. There. The DMing is a lot easier. Going live is a lot easier, and interacting with people live there is good. But yeah, I mean, to piggyback off of live, because we did in the live stream, but 50th episode going to be live.
I'm excited. They don't know who the guest is yet.
They don't know who the guest is, but it will be Friday night, the night of the 29th, correct?
Yes.
The night of the 29th, probably around 8 p.m. Central, 9 o'clock Eastern, will be our 50th episode with our 50th guest, who's going to be really cool. The next 2 days, the following day, I think we're going to have Jay Dyer on again. Cool. He's going to be repeat Jay Dyer, which should be really fun.
That may be just the two of you.
Probably, yeah. That might just be Jay and myself. But that's what's coming. Let's leave this TikTok drama in the past, although we're going to try and get our accounts restored.
We'll make another one.
If we can try and get them, great. If not, we'll make another one.
I mean, yeah, like we said, this is what we love to do. This is what we do more than anything else, is here on the YouTube channel. So
listen,
thanks
also,
for watching.
The thing about TikToks is posting the type of content that we do on TikTok. A lot of people say, I can't believe that you said that. I said, this is a clip taken out of a longer episode where all the context can be found. Like, this girl wanted to debate me on the abortion is worse than slavery. Mm-hmm. She's like, well, I don't understand why you would think this. And I said, episode 45 or episode 46, 16 minutes and 40 seconds. That's where we unpack it.
Yeah. Watch
So I
it.
sent her that, watch it, and then talk to me. And then it was this whole circular argument. She said, well, just because something's human doesn't mean it's a human being. And I said, I'm done here. I can't do it.
Wait,
I've tried. I'll read the DMs.
just because someone's not a human doesn't mean they're not a...
Just because someone is a human does not mean it's a human being. They said, is a dead person a human being? I said, at one point. Also, they can identify who that human was by the DNA in that human being skeleton.
We're talking about alive people, not dead people.
Yes, exactly. They couldn't understand how, she couldn't understand how we can relate the two or even compare the two. She couldn't get her head around that. And I said, listen, this is an opinion. It's an idea that we had. We're not saying that it is fact. She's like, prove to me that abortion is worse than slavery. I said, prove to me that you're talking to me right now. You can't do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's the thing. It's an opinion. Like, right. I find it to be worse.
Exactly. Yeah, that's your opinion.
Yeah. And that's the thing about TikTok is really revealing of how, what's the word? How emotionally unstable Gen Z is, because they really they can't hear anything different than what they believe.
And they think a debate is having a conversation. And a conversation is a conversation. A debate is abortion worse than slavery? That's the question. Now, there are two sides that are going to state their sides. And what an audience would do, I mean, most likely in a debate, especially like the IQ debates or the intelligence squared debates, they present the topic of the debate, and then the audience then votes on which side they think is going to make the better appealing case before the sides start talking. And then after the sides talk, then they vote to say like how they actually feel. Like that's what a debate should be.
Right.
It's back and forth. It's asking each other questions. A debate is not, well, this is why I feel the way that I do. You're wrong. So
how could you?
Right. That's not a debate.
No, they don't understand that.
Yeah. So that's why I said before, I'm not going to engage with these people. And then I do. And then I get pulled into it. And then I'm just completely disappointed by how bad it is. What else has happened that we want to talk about?
There was the Minneapolis shooting.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
What was that guy's name? Can you look that up?
Tekle.
I love that name.
Tekle Sundberg.
Tekle Sundberg.
Okay, so do you know the story behind this? Because I'll tell you
I know what happened.
Okay.
There was a shooting inside an apartment building, correct? The guy wouldn't leave the apartment building, barricaded himself, right? SWAT then killed him upon entry.
6-hour standoff.
Right, standoff. Okay, yes. Standoff. I'm hunching like this. I don't want to seem that. It's just the chair. My butt is forward and not back because then I'd be away from the microphone. I don't want to do that, so I'm staying close. Standoff results in him being killed. Black Lives Matter. Then goes to that complex to protest the police.
Yes.
The woman who Mr. Tekle was trying to kill says, hey, why are you guys here? This guy tried to kill me and my kids. Why are you protesting his death? The police saved my life. They saved my children's life, but they're like, we don't care. I heard the audio from it. There were people saying, you don't have bullet holes in you. You're okay.
They said,
so
shut up. You're alive.
Yeah.
Shut up. You're alive.
Yeah.
So my question is this, did he go to that apartment building specifically to attack this woman?
I don't know.
Okay, that's what I don't know. I just know that he was shooting into her apartment and she had bullet holes in her door and in her kitchen.
Yeah.
Because he was shooting at her. And I didn't know. So a lot of people say that he was having a mental health episode.
Okay.
Like, duh.
Yeah.
I think that's...
People who want to shoot other people are usually having a mental health episode.
It's pretty, yeah.
Yeah.
And so they were trying to say that he deserved compassion.
Oh. It seems like he got it. You know, it's a very weird thing. It's a very weird thing that on the left, they don't care about black babies being aborted more than they are birthed in New York City. But you get a black guy who's trying to kill live black babies.
And a woman
who is then shot by police. Then you're all of a sudden, you're a saint. I mean, yeah, I don't understand it, but... yeah, I guess we don't even have to comment on this. It just makes our case for us.
It's very reminiscent of...
If you have no uterus, you have no opinion.
No uterus, no opinion.
Okay, I'm just going to shoot you then. I will get my face graffitied on buildings. I will have marches. I will have streets named after me. I didn't abort any kids. I just tried to shoot their moms.
I just don't get, why was he in this building shooting at people? I don't get it.
It was a domestic. The most dangerous calls a cop can get are domestic calls. Mm-hmm. Those are the ones that usually end in some sort of violence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's the majority of violence and rape towards women it's a domestic issue.
Of course it is. Yeah.
So this mom, just to set the scene a little bit more, because in case you guys haven't heard of it, the protesters showed up outside of this apartment building, and they were protesting in favor of Tekle. And this woman, the mom, comes out, and it's really difficult to watch this footage. Mm-hmm. She comes out of her car and she starts screaming. She's like, leave, just leave. George Floyd was unarmed. This man was armed and he was shooting at me. He tried to kill me in front of my kids. He tried to kill me in front of my kids. This is not the same thing. Please leave, go home. He tried to kill me and my kids. And you hear this, and it's such an awful thing to hear, because you really see right in front of your eyes what happens with mass media propaganda over the last 2 years and the rise of Black Lives Matter, and how little, if any, these people care about mothers and children and the innocent, the truly innocent. And what we've done now is we've created this culture where criminals are martyred, where criminals are the ones who are propped up and they're celebrated.
Yep.
And it's such a disgusting thing to see, because you see this woman is she's having this visceral reaction because she's so upset that she and her kids almost died. And she said to them, she said, my kids probably have a mental illness now because of the trauma they went through. And this black girl went up to her and was getting in her face, and the mom shoved her, and the black girl goes, how dare you touch me? And she starts screaming. She was like, she tried to kill me in front of my kids.
Yeah.
Tried to kill me in front of my kids. And then the girl like backed off. And the most disgusting part is you hear these cowards, I'm not even gonna call them men, in the back that
they sounded like white dudes.
Shut up!
Yeah.
You're alive!
Yeah.
Shut up!
Yeah.
Oh my God, man. I wanted to That was the worst part. That was the worst part. Is they're telling her to shut. You're alive. Shut up.
It's utter hypocrisy.
Just like as if George Floyd holding a gun to a pregnant woman's belly, they probably would have told her to shut up too.
Right, exactly.
Shut up.
Yeah.
These men are career criminals.
It's utter hypocrisy.
They deserve to rot in hell.
You become a saint when you're killed by police, but if you're killed by someone who looks exactly like you, for most of the time, no apparent reason,
you're forgotten forever.
Forgotten forever. No one cares about you.
No one cares.
No marches in the streets for you. Even for the kids that are killed in these drive-by shootings by stray bullets, 4-year-old kids who are, in the cars, in the back seats of their parents' cars on a drive-through line at a McDonald's or a Wendy's. They get hit by these stray bullets. No one gives a shit about them. The same way that they do these people who are perpetrating crimes and who get killed by police. It just doesn't make any sense. And it's kind of like it's 2022 now. Like, why are we surprised? I'm not surprised anymore.
No, not at all. And it's so sad because I remember seeing that viral video that Matt Walsh was sharing a lot last year. I forgot what city it was. It might have been Atlanta, but it was a woman just loading some stuff in her trunk, and she had a baby that was probably about 18 months on her hip. And this was gang drive-by shooting. These guys were shooting each other, and the mom got shot. The mom just happened to be loading stuff into her trunk.
Yeah.
She got shot and fell to the ground, and her baby was just on the ground waiting for mommy to wake up.
Oh, geez.
And nothing ever happened. Nobody remembered her.
Yeah.
Nobody made any protests or parades about her. She was forgotten forever.
Same thing happened in the Bronx where there was a drive-by shooting where two groups were shooting at each other. And I think he was walking his daughters across the street, and he had to dive and hold his daughters, who I think he was shot. I don't know if he survived. He either died or he survived the wounds, but he was shot, cradling his wife. But did anyone any marches for that guy?
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
Yeah.
It's awful. It's
so disingenuous. That's why we need to take it a step further. I used to be kind of tolerant or I guess, I don't know, nice about people who supported Black Lives Matter. I was like, oh, they mean well. But now I'm like, no, they don't mean well. You don't mean well. Because if you support Black Lives Matter at this point, you're willfully ignorant, and you ignore, you intentionally ignore the truth, because at this point, there's just no way that you can't see the truth anymore.
It was the one instance where I didn't even agree with Black Lives Matter or anything about it, but where I understood, yeah, this sucks. It was that autistic kid that I think died in Colorado. They just didn't attend to him medically correctly or something like that. I don't
remember that.
The cops interacted with him and something had happened, and I think they gave him like an overdose of something and they killed him. I was like, yeah, that seems like look up BLM Elijah. Yeah, Elijah McClain, I think. Yeah, that I think was a pretty sad story, which you could sympathize about, and where you can see a bit of injustice happening there. But the other ones, like they just, like you said, they martyr, they turn criminals into saints, and I mean, what type of society is that?
Oh, I see. It said Mr. McClain was walking home from a convenience store in August 2019 when someone called 911 saying he looked sketchy and was wearing a ski mask, waving his arms. Police arrived, struggling to handcuff him, brought him to the ground, used a chokehold, restricted his blood to the brain to render him unconscious.
Right.
Medical responders arrived after about 15 minutes, injected him with ketamine.
Yeah.
They injected him with ketamine?
Probably to wake him back up, maybe?
A powerful sedative.
Oh, really? I think
he went into cardiac arrest on the way to the hospital and died a few days later.
Yeah. That's kind of like, I mean, listen, obviously, I think people, what it also is people are being way too nosy. There's a thing about being situationally aware. If I live in a city and it's also a residential area, but also like a commercial area where there are like gas stations and convenience stores and stuff around houses, am I going to call the police every time a sketchy looking person walks by? No. If it's a quiet residential area and it's really late at night and there's someone walking around kind of sketchy, maybe looking into people's cars, then maybe I'll call the police. Mm-hmm. But like to call the cops on a kid who's just seemingly walking by and maybe talking to himself, like he was autistic, like he probably wasn't, he doesn't handle himself as well as everyone else does mentally or whatever. And that was just because when you look into that kid's past, he wasn't a dude who's pointing, guns, in front of his camera and posting it to Instagram or just anything like that. Like he played violin to cats.
That's sad.
It's a kind of a bummer, you know what I mean? So those are the type of cases that, don't get memorialized. You remember about it, but that dude, Elijah McClain, is kind of like, in the number of people that Black Lives Matter have propped up, he's like this. He's like a speck on.
But on top of that, this has nothing to do with race.
Exactly.
Zero to do with race.
That was just kind of like police mismanagement of that situation.
Right. Which, the police, as we know, can be incompetent. Yeah. Sure. in many different situations. Mm-hmm. But the fact that they make it about race, I mean, these people are just obsessed with race. They're obsessed with skin color.
Do we know if the cops that killed Tekle were black? I mean, it's in Minneapolis. It's probably not a stretch.
Oh, let's see, Tekle.
I mean, who knows? They probably won't release the identity.
They probably
of the cops
won't
just yet.
But I really, I feel for that mom. I mean, I don't know what that woman's relationship was with Tekle. It sounds like...
Yeah, she never got into it.
Maybe his kids inside.
Maybe.
Because she did say to that black woman who came up to her and was...
She said, my black kids.
Yeah, she said, my black kids are in the car right now.
Imagine you're trying to reason with someone about someone trying to have killed you and your kids, not being able to get through with them until you mention the race of your kids.
Yeah.
Like that's the state of discourse that we're in right now.
Yeah, it is.
Can't just be about kids getting killed. It has to be about, my black kids.
My black kids.
Wait, your kids were black?
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Oh, yeah.
They weren't evil white kids.
Oh my gosh.
That's what it is. I'm not even by a stretch.
Tell you what, the KKK is loving this. Judging people by the color of their skin, categorizing people by the color of their skin.
There is a video, which I did see on TikTok, where it was a guy interviewing, I don't know if it was real or not. It was a guy interviewing a member of the Klan, but he said something about like, why isn't the Klan going into black neighborhoods or whatever? And the guy's like, man, I don't have to go into black neighborhoods, man. Look what they're doing to each other, man. Well, we just got to sit back with a case of beer. We watch it, man. If I want to do anything, all I'd do is I'd go in there with maybe some bottles of crack and, drop them in there with some guns. They'd kill each other, man. And I was like, it's what they're actively doing. I can't believe I'm agreeing with the KKK here, but it's what he's doing. Like the KKK, you think the KKK is making racial tensions in America worse now?
People think they are.
I don't think so.
I think they're just enjoying the show. They're just enjoying.
That's what I'm saying. They're watching the world burn.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's exactly. They're kind of like, Mr. Is it Mr. Smithers? going excellent. He's kind of like
Oh,
watching
yeah.
Mr. Burns. Mr. Burns. Thank you, Adriano. I never really liked The Simpsons, but thank you. That's going to be taken out of IDG out of context. It's going to be like, can't believe I agree with the KKK.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay. I'm a slavery apologist now, so.
Right. Slavery apologist, KKK sympathizer.
Yes.
You know, you comment on the reality of the world, and all of a sudden, all these labels just stick, I guess.
Yeah.
What else did you want to talk about? You wanted to talk about something else.
Well, I don't know if there was anything else.
Someone was named Woman of the Year.
Yes. This is a great topic. William Thomas. I'm sure you all remember him. The guy who was ranked 462nd on in men's swimming when he swimmed as a man for UPenn. It's when he swam as
Okay.
When he swam. Yeah. When he swam for the men's team in UPenn, he was ranked 462nd. And then he decided to grow his hair out, take a couple of hormone blockers, and swing his dangling participle around in the women's locker room and become the #1 female swimmer, collegiate female swimmer. As you guys know, he has taken home multiple medals and beat multiple records. And now he is being nominated for NCAA Woman of the Year.
Congrats,
William.
Yeah.
How does it feel? Bring it home for the patriarchy.
Exactly.
Do you know Titania McGrath?
No.
Oh man, you don't know Titania McGrath? So what is his name? British guy, not Andrew Sullivan. He's a British guy who made probably one of the most successful troll accounts on Twitter. And it's great.
Is that the troll name, Titania McGrath? Oh yes, I have heard
Titania
of him.
McGrath.
I think Rogan may have mentioned him once or twice.
Rogan had him on the show, maybe even more than once. And it's so funny because the bio for Titania McGrath: activist, healer, radical intersectional poet, non-white, ecosexual, pronouns variable, selfless and brave, buy my books. So a lot of people follow her because leftists think she's real.
Right.
But this is by far the best troll account on Twitter.
Okay.
And she tweeted, Leah Thomas has been nominated for Woman of the Year. If all women were more like Leah, the patriarchy would be finished.
Quite literally.
I
like
it's just
that
so funny to me.
You have to think about it for a second and then you appreciate the joke.
Oh my gosh. Have you seen JP Sears' YouTube video where he does I
don't really have a taste for him.
Yeah. We like him. He's funny. He crushes it.
You do one thing, it's all the same.
It's amazing how many people watch his videos. They love him. Anyway, he did a really funny video too where he's like wearing the woman's bathing suit and he's like ripped.
Yeah.
He's like, this is a day of training in my life. It's just like so funny. But anyway, William Thomas is getting nominated for Woman of the Year because men are better at everything, including and especially being women.
Mm-hmm. So congrats, William. We over here at IDG,
if he
commend
wins,
you and we extend our congratulations.
Yeah, if you win, maybe we'll make you some IDG merch.
Oh yeah.
We should dead name him on our merch.
Oh, I see.
See how well that goes. You think they'll sue us? You can't sue us over dead naming him.
If we use his image, yeah. It depends on where we get the image from.
We've got to we need to make a phrase, like some sort of William Thomas phrase, and then put it on a t-shirt.
Yeah, we could do that. I have also, listen, by the way, I've come up with some already good ideas for merch for the IDG Men's Club. I found some particular controversial figures that I put on a t-shirt, and I'll show it to you later on my laptop, but I showed Carly. She said, who is that? And I told her, and I was like, you want to put that on a shirt? And I said, yeah, because it looks cool. She's like, well, no one would really know who that is because it's a younger picture of him. And I said,
who?
I'll tell you later.
Okay. All right.
But then I thought of another idea for a shirt, and it's a picture of a young Timothy Leary and Ram Dass.
Oh.
And because that is the segue into the next topic that I wanted to talk about.
Oh, that's a good one. Hold on. I want to see if there's any more trending stuff that we wanted to go over. Yeah, no, I think that was it. Because I know this next topic you're excited to talk about.
Okay.
Oh, you said there was a shooting at an Indians mall. Did you mean Indianapolis?
I said Indiana.
It says Indians.
What?
Mike says, he texted me, there was a shooting at an Indians mall that an armed citizen stopped.
I said Indiana. Okay, so there's a story. There's a story out of, I believe it's, can you just look this up? Indiana mall shooting. There's a shooting at a mall in Indiana where a guy went in there and I think he killed 3 people, but before he was able to shoot more people, he was stopped by an armed citizen. And then some leftist tweeted something like, yeah, it really goes to show you that it took a 21-year-old bringing a gun illegally into a mall to stop a shooting where 3 people were already killed, says everything about gun rights. And I'm just like, what? That's yes, exactly. We should be able to protect ourselves and other people when some maniac goes into a mall and starts shooting people. It's like she thinks that the kid waited until 3 people were shot before he responded. It's just so stupid. But that was one story. Was it in Indiana?
Yeah.
Okay, that was in Indiana. And then can you look up?
Wait.
Okay.
No. Go ahead.
Can you also look up at the same time college shooting stopped by barefoot student? There's a great video. I'll find it. I'll put it up right here, I guess, while we're talking. But if you see it, there's a kid that walks into, looks like a library or something.
I don't see it. That's from 2019.
No. This is recent. Wait, is this the one?
No way. Can't be that.
No.
UNC Charlotte student knocked the shooter.
Go to news.
4 risk factors behind someone becoming a mass shooter.
Well, darn it.
Maybe you dreamt it.
No, I didn't. I saw it somewhere. It was on Instagram. I'll find it again and I'll put it up here. Is there anything you wanted to interrupt me about before?
No, let's go to your topic of the day.
No, I wanted to talk about the kid still in the university, just to tell people what he did.
Okay, go.
There's a kid who a shooter went into a university library or something. It looked like that. And he was about to raise his gun, or he had taken some shots. And there's this kid who comes from behind him, kind of creeps up, no shoes, and he pepper sprays the kid in the face, then tackles him, gets the shotgun away from him, and for whatever reason, like gets up and moves the shotgun into another room. And when he comes back, the shooter has a knife now, but then he's able to wrestle the knife away from the kid. This is I'll put it up somewhere so that you guys can see it.
Put it up on the IG.
But that's what I wanted to talk about. I just wanted to talk about people being situationally aware. I wanted to talk about people responding to active shooters in such ways where, the first instinct is to protect oneself and protect people around them by taking out, potential mass shooters. It's a good thing.
It is a good thing.
Yeah.
Know your surroundings.
Be actively aware. If you're putting your groceries away at the grocery store and your back is to what's going on behind you, not smart. Listen, I tell my wife this all the time. I said, just because you pull into our driveway doesn't mean you're safe. You're safe when you're in the house and the house is clear. You guys, nothing good ever, to me, the saying used to be nothing good ever happens after midnight. My new saying is nothing good ever happens after 9 o'clock. Once the sun goes
after dark.
Yeah, after dark. No, but the saying was midnight. But, these things, they're a perfect time for opportunities. When it's dark outside, they call your driveway of your house. They call the sidewalk. They call these things transitional spaces. It's when you're constantly moving from place to place where people take an opportunity to hurt you, to rob you. So you have to be aware of everything going on around you.
Yeah, there was someone who tweeted recently, would you know if someone followed you home? And it started this conversation. And I'm like, is this really a question? How could you not know? I mean, I guess because I'm always kind of paranoid. I'm always looking at my rear view, like always looking around. I'm always looking.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm paranoid, but when they asked that on Twitter, I'm like, are you serious? How could you not know if someone follows you home?
Before we talk about LSD, there was a recently where Carly and I walked. There's a greenway, and there's this weird. I take my gun with me everywhere. Okay, so I have it, and there was just this kid who, like, you walk past this kind of opening on the path, and you walk past. There's like a brush area that you can go deep into. And you can look into it. You can say, oh, I bet like a bunch of deer live in there, or animals can go in there, or, a transient can go in there and make a tent if he wanted to. I saw this guy like leave that brush right as we were getting up to it with like a bag over his shoulder. And then he just started looking at people that were walking by. So we walked past him, and I look over my shoulder, and then he just started following us when we walked past him. I said, Carly, get in front of me. Just walk, like take the bait, like, because we were pushing his shoulder. I said, get in front of me. And the whole time, I'm almost walking backwards at this point, just like watching this guy the whole time. He didn't look right. And if you have like that instinct, always follow your gut instinct.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously nothing happened, but if someone doesn't look right to you,
Mm-hmm.
keep an eye on them.
Mm-hmm.
Be aware. That's all I'm saying.
Yep.
Not everybody is going to be a serial killer, but you never know.
You never know. You got to listen to your gut. That's why Edmund Burke always says that your intuition and common sense and wisdom and discernment go a lot longer than reason, logic, and science.
You got to listen to your gut. You also got to keep your gut healthy.
Good, healthy gut equals happy mind.
And you know why? Because the mind and the gut are connected.
Gut-brain axis. Did you know that 60 to 80% of your immune system lives in your gut?
I do. That's what I've heard. Okay. Can we talk about LSD now?
You want to talk about MDMA?
No, LSD.
Not
and
MDMA.
And just psychedelic drugs in general. So yeah, I guess we could talk about MDMA.
Yeah,
This won't be a long segment.
DMT.
We're not going to be here for a while.
Take some ayahuasca?
No, I don't want to do that. It makes you throw up.
Peyote?
No. Well, peyote. No, because that's like smoke. It's a lot of smoke.
Wachuma?
I don't know what that is.
The cactus? It's similar to peyote.
Okay. So Michael Pollan has this docuseries on Netflix. It's called, I forget what it's called. Can you look it up?
Yeah.
We're just horribly prepared here, but that's what's great about our podcast. People
Authentic.
like the authenticity. But he has I think it's called, Going Clear is the Scientology one.
Cook? No.
No.
That's the other one.
Change Your Mind.
How to Change Your Mind.
The book that he has is called How to Change Your Mind. Carly has the book. But he talks about, in this particular episode, he's talking about the introduction of LSD into modern science and how coming across LSD was basically a mistake and how it was synthesized. And then how from the mid 40s to late 50s, how it was used in the world of psychiatry and treating things like alcoholism. Basically, the founder of Alcoholics Anonymous had an LSD experience that spawned Alcoholics Anonymous. So people think that it comes out of, the founder's like deep Christian faith. He's Christian, but the experience that he had from LSD ultimately pushed him to start Alcoholics Anonymous. How it had actually helped people cure their alcoholism and just other sorts of problems. And Timothy Leary and Ram Dass talked about it. They said they brought, while they were experimenting at Harvard, this is some of the top engineers, top mathematicians in the world, they brought 43 scientists in who were having a specific problem with something, an equation, a formula, an engineering problem. And they gave these 43 scientists doses of LSD. And out of the 43 scientists, all 43 of them were able to solve their problem. They were all able to either figure out the equation, to fix the engineering bug. And I just thought that was really, really interesting. So the start of this documentary is all about how LSD was used to treat people, and then how it kind of got misused by the CIA and then by the counterculture of the time of the 60s and stuff like that. Very, very interesting. So then I started to think, what's the connection between, let's say, psychedelics and spirituality, specifically Christianity? Because psychedelics, especially with marijuana is not necessarily a psychedelic, but does it have the same type of effects as one? It can. And religions like Hinduism, they call marijuana, it's like one of the 5 sacred plants, and it's used often in meditation and in chanting and stuff like that within the Hindu religion. But then someone had sent me a video about his Father Spiritum, who's an Orthodox priest. And he was talking about, I watched a video on his and the Orthodox Christianity's stance on marijuana. It was very interesting because basically he calls marijuana a barrier to a spiritual journey. And I wrote some notes down, but he was just basically saying that cannabis is at odds with Orthodox life. It just makes sense, obviously, if you have a strict religion, that bringing outside chemicals or outside influences would be a barrier to one's Orthodox or spiritual life. But what else was he saying? He was saying that an altered state of consciousness is not necessarily a spiritual one. You may just be seeing things that you want to see and not necessarily sort of devoting yourself spiritually, and you're just opening yourself up to altered states. And just saying things like that cannabis will stimulate a fantasy within somebody. And then I watched another video about how someone took mushrooms and then thought very differently about their religion. And this person, the name of that video is Yeah, I took psychedelics as a Christian. What I saw shocked me or something like that. And I watched the video and it seemed like this person had doubts in his faith in God. So he says, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take mushrooms and see if this does anything for me. And it did. Obviously, it had a profound experience on him. And from there, I guess he was confirmed in his faith. And that's the question. Can psychedelics be used to drive one toward Christianity? Can it be used to drive someone to God? Or is it, in fact, interrupting that process by a chemical alteration in your brain and showing you things that aren't necessarily true? Because, psychedelic experience can last, 15 minutes, depending on what it is, or up to 2 hours. Once it's over, it's over. Though the way you feel probably stays with you. But can one get to the same state of mind as one would be in like a psychedelic trip just by using prayer or just by using meditation? It's one of the reasons why George Harrison stopped using LSD, because he said it was based on a bad trip that he had at the Haight. But he also said, I found that I was able to get to states of consciousness similar to being on an acid trip through meditation and through chanting. I left those drugs behind. Ram Dass says, he said, don't worry about getting high, work on your lows. And I was like, whoa, because Ram Dass is one of the people who helped really distribute LSD throughout the States and really helped it become like this countercultural thing, because he was working with Timothy Leary. And then Ram Dass, as you know, becomes this spiritual guru who leaves psychedelics behind, because he says, meditation or being actively involved in your religion could bring you to those higher states of consciousness that you don't necessarily need the drugs.
Mm-hmm.
So my overall question is, can Christians see LSD as beneficial in treating ailments like alcoholism or treating ailments like PTSD or, any sort of other mental disorders that people may have without getting kind of stuffy about it for people not using it in a religious way, I guess?
I don't know enough about LSD. I mean, is the treatment when they administer LSD, do you go to an altered state, or is it like you're microdosing mushrooms?
No, well, I think they obviously don't give you a very powerful dose. And if I believe correctly, the person who basically synthesized LSD said it's non-addictive. One can't be addicted to it, and I can't give you a lethal dose of it. Now, can it cause a psychiatric break in someone who has, let's say, schizophrenia? It absolutely can. And that's obviously not someone who we want to administer this stuff to. But if you don't know if someone's schizophrenic, then, you got to be, I guess, somewhat knowledgeable about who you're giving this stuff to. But I think they weren't microdosing this, at least early on. Mm-hmm. So they would give, I think LSD works on not milligrams, but micrograms. I think micrograms are on a millionth of a degree. And I think milligrams are on 1,000th level of degree. So they were giving people, I can't remember the amount, but they were giving people, good enough doses. But a lot of these were guided. They were monitored, and they were, it was basically, an experiment and research done. But I know now that what they're doing with soldiers who are experiencing PTSD symptoms are ketamine, MDMA, LSD, and what they're doing with a lot of cancer patients who are terminal with them. And this was on Fantastic Fungi with, I forgot his name, but he's been on Rogan before. Paul Stamets. They were giving mushrooms to people who were terminal, and it helped them accept the idea of death. They were no longer scared when they came out of it, which I think is something useful. Now, what I also thought is a lot of people could just say, you could use religion just to do that. You could find God. You can practice. You can become a Catholic. You can become a Christian. And in the same way, you can not fear death. And I'm just saying, for someone who necessarily doesn't want to turn into religion or doesn't want to get religious about anything, can it be appropriate to turn to psychedelics?
Well, why wouldn't you present religion to somebody like that? That's my question, is that why are the options like psychedelics or religion? Because for me, it's like, and I'd love to have someone on here who's a pastor or a priest or in some sort of Christian denomination who can talk about this from a biblical point of view. But I can tell you, my gut tells me that you don't need and you shouldn't be taking psychedelics to get closer to God.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And that's what I think the Orthodox priest, this Father Spiridon. I hope I'm saying that right. Spiridon.
Oh yeah, this guy. I remember this guy you sent me. He seems really interesting.
Yeah. He was just
too bad he's not local.
No, and he said that. What did he say? He said Saint John Cassian said attempting to open the noetic eye through drugs is sorcery. It's almost like an easier way to get to God. You can see these beautiful things. You can have this super inward experience and then come out. John Lennon said he was an atheist and then he took LSD and he says, I know for sure now that God exists. Does one need drugs in order to find that? I don't think you do.
No.
Right? George Harrison said, doesn't need the drugs. You know what I mean? A lot of people, they don't need the drugs. There's a show on CBS, or it's on one of the streaming services called Evil. Have you heard of this?
Mm-mm.
It's about a psychiatrist who pairs up with a priest and they go to investigate exorcism claims and stuff like that, just to make sure that they're legitimate. And one of the plot lines is that this Catholic priest takes psychedelics to have visions. And I'm like, that doesn't sound like
they don't sound right.
Good Catholic priest. So in order to get closer to God, you need to take drugs. So what I'm saying is, I think would a pastor advocate the use of psychedelics in order to help people who are struggling with something mentally? Probably. Would they advocate for the use of psychedelics in order to push someone closer to Christianity? Probably not. I would say most likely not. But that's the question. Can they be used to help push someone? You want a lot of people coming to the faith? Probably. But is one way to do that to give them drugs? Probably
yeah.
not.
I mean, I will say this though, about the broader conversation is like people who get very squirrely about this conversation, like the vast majority of them are totally okay with the drugs given to you at a hospital.
Right. Right.
And that's where I think that we need to get real. Like if you go for surgery or you get into an accident and they put you on morphine, they give you oxycodone, they give you you're trying to tell me that is very different than like microdosing on mushrooms to help someone treat their severe depression or PTSD.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I
think it's a very interesting conversation. And I hate to use the word nuance, but I think it's also a very nuanced one. Just because the science behind it is so fascinating.
It is. I'm a fan of microdosing mushrooms. It's a very interesting, fascinating plant that has some tremendous effects, and it's not mind altering.
Right.
We're talking about like 0.2 grams.
Even that, there are plenty of mushroom supplements that you can take that are really good for you, like lion's mane. Stuff like that. I mean,
yeah, I think it's a little different.
Turkey tail. Yeah, they're not psilocybin.
Right.
They're
quite
literally.
So I guess more specifically, I can see microdosing psilocybin to be really useful for people who struggle a lot with things like PTSD and mental disorders that they don't want to take pharmaceuticals for.
Yeah.
I can really see that. And it's not mind altering and not at all. Like I've micros, you don't feel it. It's not mind altering. I can't stress that enough.
Yeah.
We're actually going to have a friend on soon who, this guy, he's got over 1 million followers on TikTok and he talks a lot about healthy living, anti-big pharma.
Is this the same day as special guest, but earlier in the day?
No.
Friend? Okay.
No. Oh, yeah. No, not him.
Okay.
This guy, his name is Jeremy Abramson. You guys can go look him up. He talks a lot about fluoride and sun exposure and all these things. And I think he has a group where he works with people and helps them understand microdosing and the benefits of it. But I think that a lot of people who are they will swallow anything that a medical doctor will give them. And a lot of women are more than happy to take an epidural during labor.
Yeah.
Hello, fentanyl.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think that is? And a lot of these people are very uncomfortable with even having this conversation. Yeah. And I think that there's definitely a
oh yeah, there's also that culture of psychedelics now. It seems to be a trend again.
Yeah, that's what I hate. Like I texted you, I hate that it's a trend. Like it just annoys me that it's become a trend once again. People are like, psychedelics, let's go to ayahuasca. It's so cool. And then, for my spiritual journey, I'm not into that.
No, especially when you see the type of people that, push that. It's just, I don't want to.
Yeah, I'm very my gut tells me that I don't think any psychedelics should be used to further your spirituality or to help you realize who God is or what God has done for you, because you don't, that's not the way.
I mean, even just by like I've just done basic meditation before, and I mean, you can get to a place where things become very clear and you become very aware all of a sudden.
Euphoric.
You don't need drugs for it.
No, you can absolutely get there with prayer and meditation. I've been to that state before too.
Do you want to answer some questions?
Yeah, let's do questions. Yeah.
Uh-oh. A new IDG out of context?
Yay.
See what it is.
Boy waiting online for the peaches. So she's walking around and she's just, she loves other kids.
Did she drop the N-word?
No. Why would you say that? That's so random.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that.
Big shout out to No Context IDG for being
Thank
there
you.
and existing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We love you.
So much. Okay,
We'll send you some merch when we have
Let's go with some questions. Steven Zimmer wants to know. I lost that. Okay. Aside from Tennessee, if you could live in any state you wanted, which one would it be and why?
Idaho. It's beautiful.
Legitimately.
Love the weather. It's tough. I mean, the only reason why I'm hesitant to even really say that is because we'd be so far away from family.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Okay, let's take family out of it then.
Idaho.
Okay. I think, and this is only because Carly has mentioned it so many times, and I probably would agree with her about loving living there, Hawaii. Have you ever been to Hawaii? I haven't been there. I've never been to Hawaii.
But I mean,
I want to get there and Tulsi Gabbard could be like, welcome to Hawaii. Aloha.
It's just so expensive and full of dum-dums. I mean, it's beautiful there.
Where else are you going to go in the world that's not full of dum-dums and expensive right now? Idaho.
Well, I was going to say here. Well, Idaho too.
Yeah, okay.
Here, but I do want to go to Hawaii.
KDMZ96, when's the merch dropping? I need a new sweatshirt. It's coming. Like I said,
Sweatshirt would be
we don't want to
good.
rush this stuff, guys. We don't want to rush it. Fall drop. We'll have a fall drop. Should
Fall
we just
drop.
say fall
Okay.
drop? Fall drop. Fall 2022 capsule collection IDG.
Yeah.
Yes.
Crop top.
Honeydew or cantaloupe, guys? It's cantaloupe.
Honeydew, obviously.
You're saying that just because
No,
it's
cantaloupe
with
is such
cantaloupe.
trash.
You're just
Honey, I'm going to
obviously-
give
you're
you,
so-
I'm going to let you try cantaloupe and then you can settle this discussion once and for all because I don't think you've had cantaloupe before. You've had, you know what honeydew is? It's the green melon. Melon, how do you say it? Melon.
Listen, honey, you're going to like cantaloupe. Make sure that it's room temp. It's not super cold and it's also not super warm and mushy.
Good. So room temp, trash, nice.
You're going to like cantaloupe. Can you Google this? Did you guys see that New York nuclear attack PSA? Oh, no, okay, the PSA about it. Yeah, we saw it. I don't really have any opinion about it.
Same. I mean, I wish I did.
Dunkaroo asked a bunch of. I've been hearing a lot of fellow TERFs saying age of consent is the next step in the trans agenda. Oh, wondering if you agree. Age of consent laws
sure.
were enacted to protect children from men. Now we have men pretending to be women, trying to undo. How do we stop this? It's just if it's
How do we stop this?
If it's brought up locally, you better protest it.
Yeah, it's like twofold. You have to be involved with what's happening locally in your community, what's happening at the schools, and then the second part of that is we really need to be on our toes culturally. We have to be part of the mainstream cultural conversation. And this is why, going back to what we said earlier, it's not a good idea to leave mainstream spaces just because, you're unwelcome there and you feel like you're about to get kicked out. Like we have to shift the culture when we're talking about gender and children and the differences between adults and children and the difference between men and women. Like we have to stay on top of it in the culture.
From Heather K. Hubbard, it's funny because Gina keeps saying how much she loves Idaho. What part would she move to? We're near Napa, Boise. Do you know where you'd move to?
I don't know yet. I mean, I have a friend, Aaron. What's up, Aaron? I don't know if he listens to our show, but he's great. He lives in Idaho and he gave us a list of places to consider visiting. I mean, I've only been to Idaho Falls.
Yeah.
But, that's probably not where we would move.
Okay.
But it was beautiful enough to where I was like, I love the state. And I think
my friend Lauren and the first actual fan of the IDG podcast, do y'all practice praying for people who suck, bad leaders, troll commenters? And you just said you actually prayed for this woman.
Is a really good question. And I forgot where I read it in the Bible, but God calls us to pray for our enemies. Mm-hmm. And the reason that I intentionally sit down and I pray for the people, especially people who like real people like her who will intentionally come after me, I really do sit down and pray for them. Number one, because it softens my heart.
Yeah,
it really does. And because when you ask for God's love and compassion, and when you ask for God's wisdom, I'm reading through Proverbs right now, and Proverbs is like all about wisdom, you know? And I was reading Proverbs 29 today, and there was a verse, I'm obviously paraphrasing it. It said something like, when you engage with the fool, it doesn't matter whether the fool laughs or whether they get upset, they win in the end.
Right.
So like, don't even engage with them. But there's a lot of scripture about praying for our enemy.
Yeah.
And I find that not only does it soften our heart, but it gives you a sense of peace, knowing that there is nobody on earth who can touch you, and man does not have the last say. God has the last say, and there will always be people. Jesus promised us many times that if you follow me, follow my footsteps, and choose the narrow path, the world will hate you. Hate you. And the world hates us because we know Christ is king, and because God always wins, and because we ask and we pray for God to give us a chance to fulfill his plan. And that's why I legitimately pray for my enemies. I'm not saying that to try to be edgy or just say that I do. I legitimately do, because that's what God calls us to do.
What's The Office? Jim is my enemy. And what do you know? It's like the enemy.
Jim is my enemy, but Jim is also my friend.
Oh, right. The enemy of your enemy is your friend.
Is your friend, but Jim is also my enemy.
Yeah.
And what is it? The friend of my enemy of my friend or something. But yeah, I know.
It's a funny quote. Matthew 0521. Who do you guys want to see for the GOP's 2024 run? I don't care at this point, only because whatever answer I give you, people aren't happy with it. So whatever. What is your opinion on the? I haven't seen it.
On the what?
No, that's true.
Yeah,
I like DeSantis. DeSantis sucks. You want to know all these reasons why? Okay, I like this person. This person sucks. You know why? All these reasons why? Freaking edgy, fake conservative. Like, I don't care anymore to say who I want to run.
At this point, I don't think it even matters who we want anyway, because Trump is going to run. Yeah. And I keep hearing from a couple reliable sources that DeSantis is also definitely going to run, not obviously on the same ticket.
Oh, God. Bummy Bamuel. Dude, this is something you really have to come up with by yourself. How should I propose to my girlfriend? Need ideas. Listen, people are going to do what they're going to do, no matter what advice they get. You're going to end up doing whatever you're going to do. The only advice that I can give you, don't do it in public. Don't do it at a restaurant. Don't do it in front of your family. Don't have someone record it. Don't employ people to come dance. And what do they call that? Do a flash mob.
Flash mob.
Don't do that. You are going to regret it if you do. Let me tell you the way I proposed to Carly, my now wife. We went on a date. This was maybe a year to the day of our first date. We went on a date. We went to go get ice cream. We were walking through the Lower West Side. We found a bench outside of this restaurant. It was maybe like 9:30 at night. Just found this bench. We just started talking. And then I just got down on my knee and I asked her to marry me. That was it. It was just a sweet little intimate moment. Took no more than 15 seconds. And when we were done, these people came out of the restaurant and said, "We saw you get down on your knee. We took pictures of it." And I said, "This is great. Thank you." And they airdropped me the photos.
Oh.
So it's just something I don't need. A lot of people I've done it. I've hid in a house of my friend, and he had a surprise engagement ceremony, basically where he proposed to his girlfriend, and then when she said yes, the lights came on and all the families were there. It's nice. It's sweet. It takes away from it just a little bit, in my own personal opinion. Like I said, you guys are going to do what you're going to do. I just find it's a special, intimate moment, and I think to involve other people is just cringe. I think you do. It's a little cringe. You do it for validation. It can also go sideways. So don't do that.
Yeah.
Listen, I took my own advice, because the first time I ever engaged with someone, I did it in front of my family, and I don't have to take it back because we're not married. So I just wouldn't do it again. Do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, I'm the wrong person to ask, because I hate proposals. I find them all to be very awkward and uncomfortable. I mean, my husband and we had a conversation. I mean, I knew we were going to get married very early on anyway, but we had we just decided to get married. I never wanted a ring. The only reason I'm wearing one now is because after we've been married for a while, I was I got to wear a ring on camera so people can obviously see that I'm married. Right. But I don't like rings. I don't like proposals. We didn't have a wedding. We didn't have a honeymoon. We're just not. So I'm the wrong person to ask. Right. That's just personal preference, though. Yes. I'm not saying that nobody should do any of that.
I photographed a couple of friends' weddings. I've been involved in some engagement planning. And I could just tell you, it's the nicest thing when it's an intimate moment, when it's just the two of you guys. You'll always remember it. You don't necessarily need pictures to do that. But we'll do 3 more questions. I know you got to run, but we got some good ones here. This is just from Laurelyn Verga. I know why you're asking this question. Do you know Josh Jacob, who we were at Royal Range with in our video about guns?
Yeah. I know what they're about.
Is Josh Jacob coming in as a guest? And if not, why not? I understand. Josh is he's an attractive man. He's a strong man. And he does what he does, and he's doing what he's doing. If he ever wants to come on the show, we'll invite him on. But he's doing his thing. Let him do his thing. Okay. Send him a DM on Instagram.
Slide into his DMs, as the kids say.
Yeah. Rohan Newton, he just wanted to say that you're right when you get banned. So nice. Yeah,
that's like that's street cred. When you're banned, you did something right.
This is a great, as far as the thirst trap, who is Lauren Verga asking about Josh Jacob. Who would win in a fight? She asks a great question: a taco or a grilled cheese? I think the grilled cheese would win. A taco, wait, is it a hard taco or a soft taco? Is it flour or is it corn? These are very specific questions that need to be addressed, only because a corn hard tortilla can crack under pressure very, very easily. You're eating those things and they just break all over the place. You don't want that. You want a strong, nice flour wrapped tortilla where it doesn't break apart easily. But versus a grilled cheese, what type of grilled cheese is it? What kind of cheese is it? What kind of bread is it? Is it sourdough? Is it Munster cheese? Munster cheese can last forever. Like what are we talking about here?
The grilled cheese is heavier. So if we're talking about in a fight, it's likely going to end up
a burrito.
It's likely going to end up on the ground.
Yeah.
And when you're on the ground, it helps to have extra weight.
Yeah. Is it a taco? Is it like a soft taco supreme from Taco Bell where it's kind of loaded up a little bit more? I mean, or is it just like ground beef?
But also the grilled cheese is greasier, so it might get tired faster.
The density of the bread too might add to like its strength.
And the stretchiness of the cheese, just like you said.
That's
that
what I'm
too.
saying. Like Munster cheese goes on for days. Okay.
I vote grilled cheese. I put my money on the grilled cheese.
Joseph Bowen, you're probably a good citizen, but favorite movies ? Is an awful question. I can't believe I even read it out loud. Just be specific. Go genre. Go maybe favorite movie by soundtrack, favorite movie by score. This favorite movies, we would spend 3 hours talking about our favorite movies. Gina loves movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last question. We gave Laurelyn a lot of attention. Okay, we'll end with this. How do you handle convos with friends you strongly disagree with? How much do you engage? Depends on the friend.
Yeah, it does. I would say always choose humor. You just got to choose humor.
There are plenty of things that some of my closest friends and I disagree with. My best friend throughout high school and college, I would consider him a best friend. We just don't talk as much now. We're probably diametrically opposed on probably every single subject, but we wouldn't approach each other with animosity while we talked about it. So yeah, I can engage with friends about differing political opinions all day because it comes from a place of love.
Yeah.
Strangers on the internet, you don't see their faces. You don't know what their voices sound like. It's very what?
They're bots anyway.
They're bots, yeah. It's very easy to be aggressive and to be pretty flippant with these kind of people.
Yeah.
You don't owe them anything.
I have a good friend in San Francisco. She had her baby like right before I had mine. So our kids are also the same age. And we're different on a lot of things. Mm-hmm. We're different on abortion.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of common ground in terms of like the trans thing is obviously out of control.
Right.
But, she didn't like Trump. And during the debates in 2020, we would like text each other, like joking around. And it's always just a lighthearted, fun conversation. I don't know. When I get those questions, it's honestly hard for me to answer because I have never, ever lost a friend. I'm talking about a real friend that you know in person that you've spent time with. Yeah. I've never lost a friend or even like gotten into a fight with a friend about politics.
Yes.
I mean, and we used to live in San Francisco. Like most of our friends from there, they have very different political views. I think it's also because like I just tend to surround myself with people who don't make their life about politics. I don't know. Even before I was really outspoken about my political beliefs, I just tend to gravitate towards people that don't give it so much weight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so we have a lot of friends in San Francisco who disagree with us, but we've never I've never lost a friend over it or had a fight.
Yeah. I had one who I wouldn't even necessarily call a friend, but she was in a friend's group. So someone who I knew very well.
Peripherally.
Right. Who doesn't care about my political opinion, but finds me funny. So he's always interested to hear what I have to say. When I was living in New York, I remember that, I think I was dating. Yeah. Yes. So it was this girl who was friends with a bunch of, my photographer friends. And whenever we would all hang out together, she'd be there and, everybody knew her. Everyone was fine. And then I think we shared a train home together, or a train to we shared some subway train. And we were talking about the project that I was working on for Milo. And I was talking about Tommy Robinson or something like that. And she was just like, oh, okay, all right, yeah, interesting. I posted a photo from the trip when I got back because I had photographed Tommy Robinson in England, and I said, these are some photos from my time spent in England, working on this project. And Tommy Robinson happens to be one of the loudest voices in the UK that is fighting against Islamism within his own community, blah blah blah. And she goes on this rant on that post saying, I can't believe you're this racist. I can't believe you would support anyone like this. I can't believe blah, 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 blah. And I was just like, you know me. I said it to her. I was like, you know me. This is perfectly predictable and understandable behavior if you didn't know me, and if I was some troll or I was just making troll posts. But this is a post about photography of a controversial figure. To call me then racist, having, knowing who I am, seems just really sad and almost kind of like, yeah.
Always
white girl. But I wasn't hurt by that just because we weren't good friends, if to call it friends, but acquaintances. Like, she knew who I was. We'd hung out several times. And I remember saying to one of my friends who's in the friends group, I was like, is this girl serious? And she's like, yeah, well, this is who that is. And I was
she married?
No.
That's why.
No. I wasn't dating anybody at the time, but it's just like...
No, was she married?
No.
Yeah. It's
in Brooklyn, and they're like these late 20s, early 30s liberal white women who have nothing going on in their lives other than outrage.
This is why John Doyle nailed it when he talked about the unchecked feminine spirit. Mm-hmm. This is why women need men.
Ooh. Someone very close to me did say that one of the most dangerous people is a gay man, in a way that they have what did she say? She said they have
the cattiness of a woman and the confidence of a man.
Yeah, and I found that to be one of the most enlightening statements I had ever heard in my life.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So props to whoever said that. I'll see you in a bit.
Bye.
Wait, don't cut off yet, Adriano. Before we say bye, remember, go to plug your women's group.
myhealthshift.com.
Okay. The idgmensclub.locals.com. Go to it. Onboarding.
Yeah.
We're going to do it.
It's going to be great.
It's going to launch in a month. I want a bunch of people to sign up for it. Okay.
Men only.
Okay. Men only.
And we had our next episode, we have a guest coming on. So we will have a guest.
Is Shekinah the next guest?
Yeah.
Okay. So say Shekinah.
Shekinah will be our guest. She's coming on in a couple days. She goes by Shekinah Ruth.
Okay.
Yeah. She is Bryson's lady.
It'll be the 48th episode.
48th episode.
Yeah.
Yes. It's going to be great. She's great. She's very smart. And I had dinner. We had dinner it was our friend's birthday on Saturday, and Charlie taught me some.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He taught me a little bit. So when it's true, the finger goes through. So you have to practice. You have to practice with absolutes. Like, this table is brown. This table is brown. This table is brown. This table is white. This table is white.
You're holding your
That's what I told Charlie, but he taught me how to just relax your fingers, and you have to practice.
Right.
And then, like, you practice with your name. My name is Gina. My name is Gina. My name is Mike. My name is Mike. I don't know. I don't have it yet, but it's interesting. He told me what to order. I was sitting next to him. I'm like, bro, what should I order? And he went like this with his hand under the table. The short rib is testing best for you. And I ordered the short rib, and it tasted so good.
How did your body react?
I felt really good after, because we don't eat out often. We cook 98% of our meals.
Yeah. We
don't usually like to eat out, and I usually feel like crap when I eat out after, but I feel fine after. So
nice.
He also tested all of the desserts on the menu. It was very enlightening. It was bizarre.
Okay, goodbye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you for coming to our show. We need some sponsors to continue our show.
Text that guy.
We might buy.
Text that guy and be like,
okay.
Hey, what can we do here?